Seriously, Sarah, why are you still in pajamas? It's the best weather this month. We should be hiking or at that new market downtown.
I know, Mike, but honestly, listening to the rain with a hot cup of tea sounds way better to me right now. It's my perfect Friday evening.
You're missing out on so much, though. I just don't get it. My default setting is total FOMO. I need to be where the action is.
And mine is JOMO, the joy of missing out. I find peace and recharge when I choose to stay in and focus on what I need, not what others expect.
JOMO, huh? It sounds like an excuse to be lazy. Tell me honestly, don't you ever feel that pang of regret when you see everyone's Instagram stories?
That's the core of the problem, isn't it? Social media is the engine of FOMO. It creates this curated highlight reel of everyone else's life, and we instantly compare it to our messy reality.
It totally does. Every story is a perfectly filtered party or a stunning mountaintop. It makes staying in feel like failure. You check your phone and suddenly your cozy tea feels boring.
Exactly. But I've learned to disconnect the feeling of being left out from the reality of being well rested. My mental health is not worth that anxiety.
So, how do you manage that urge? Like, what's your technique for looking at a picture of a huge group of friends and thinking, nope, I'm good?
It's a conscious choice. I remind myself that those stories are just 2 seconds of a 6-hour event. I think about the traffic, the small talk, the crowded room, and suddenly my blanket is much more appealing.
That's a good point. I always forget about the traffic. But what about the genuine connections? I love meeting new people and making memories. That's the part JOMO misses, right?
Not necessarily. JOMO isn't about isolating yourself completely, it's about being selective. I prefer deep one-on-one conversations over shouting across a crowded room. My connections are smaller but richer.
Okay, I can respect that. I guess FOMO drives me to quantity while JOMO drives you to quality. But let's be real, you can't read a book on a ski slope. Some experiences demand you show up.
Of course they do. But how often do we really need a ski slope experience? I think we overload ourselves thinking every weekend has to be epic. Sometimes epic is just finishing a complex recipe or learning a new guitar chord.
Epic is definitely hitting the dance floor until 3 a.m. for me, but I see your point about overloading. Maybe the pressure to always be on is the real issue.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's the constant pressure to optimize every moment. JOMO is my way of giving myself permission to simply be.
So, practically speaking, what does being look like for you on a Friday night? Are you just staring at the wall?
No, of course not. That's another misconception. My JOMO activities are deeply intentional. I've started taking online courses I never had time for, or spending an hour baking bread from scratch.
Baking bread? That sounds like work. I'd rather spend that energy dancing.
It's therapeutic work. It engages my hands and my mind in a way that social scrolling doesn't. Or sometimes I just dedicate the evening to reading a heavy, long book without interruption.
I can see how that's fulfilling, but isn't there a risk of becoming too isolated? Humans need interaction, Sarah. I worry JOMO becomes an excuse for avoidance.
That's the valid fear, and it requires self awareness. JOMO is a tool for balance, not a permanent state. If I haven't seen a friend in a week, I'll plan a small, quiet dinner, not a huge club event. It's about being mindful.
Mindful. I like that word. For me, FOMO is often driven by anxiety. If I don't go, I feel anxious about what I'm missing, and that anxiety is sometimes worse than the actual event.
Exactly. The anxiety of the unknown is often scarier than the reality of the couch. JOMO flips that script. It's choosing certainty and comfort over hypothetical fun.
Okay, let's talk health benefits. You mentioned recharge. How does JOMO actually make you feel better than a wild weekend?
It stabilizes my mood. By Sunday night, people who went out are often depleted and facing the Sunday scaries. I start my week feeling grounded, focused, and genuinely happy because I chose rest.
The Sunday scaries are definitely real. Hangovers are also real. I admit starting the work week already exhausted is a huge drag.
It's all about investing your energy, Mike. You invest yours in external experiences, I invest mine internally. Both are valuable, but one is clearly more sustainable for long-term mental clarity.
All right, you're convincing me that a little JOMO could be good. Maybe I should stop trying to do everything every weekend. What if we found a middle ground?
That's the goal. JOMO isn't the opposite of FOMO, it's a healthy response to it. What kind of middle ground are you imagining?
Instead of saying yes to every single party invitation, maybe I pick one big event I genuinely want to go to and then dedicate the other night to a JOMO activity, selective socializing.
I love Sajomo. I think the hardest part for people like me is learning to say no without feeling guilty. We feel obligated to entertain or be entertained.
That's the social pressure. We have to normalize canceling plans without a major excuse. I just need a night in should be a perfectly acceptable reason.
If more people were honest like that, the pressure would drop for everyone. It's a collective problem.
It is. So my final takeaway is this. Check in with your body and your mind before you check your social feed. If you're tired, choose peace.
And mine is don't miss out on life, but make sure the life you're living is the one you actually chose, not the one Instagram chose for you.
That's a perfect way to end it. So what's your Sajomo activity going to be this weekend?
I'm actually going to try that bread baking thing, but don't tell anyone. It's my little secret.
Your secret is safe with me, Mike. You might actually enjoy the quiet.
We'll see. Thanks for the deep dive, Sarah. I feel less anxious already.
Anytime, Mike. Remember to listen to your needs.
Will do. And to all our listeners out there, we hope you find your perfect balance between JOMO and FOMO this week.
Choose well. See you next time.